All right. Last thing I want to talk about here. We are talking free agency. The Steelers are 2 days away from diving big into the free agency market. Do you expect them to attack a position early? Do you expect them to say, this is our priority? And maybe by Wednesday, when that 4 o'clock window opens, they sign a guy almost immediately or like right before that?
I think one of those safeties. I think either KZ or Edmonds, if they're able to. Edmonds probably less likely, but I feel like KZ is definitely a guy that they try to lock down early. One of those like, let's get it over with. We don't want to have to worry about this one. That's the position. Those are the positions I feel like they go after first. Those kind of layups like KZ, Zach Gentry at tight end. I'm trying to think of maybe some other ones. Those are the first two. Yeah, Spillane. Spillane's a good one too. Those are the ones, I don't think they're going to try to tackle the big fish first.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you'll get the easy stuff out of the way. Boom, 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 real quick. And then I could see them having a little bit of a Mitch Trubisky moment where last year Trubisky signed like an hour and a half after the free agency market opened. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I'm going to bring this up because over the past couple of days, I've been trying to like look back at last year's free agency, and I was watching the Mitch Trubisky welcome press conference, and I was a dick in that press conference. I have to make it very known. First thing I ever said to this guy in a Zoom call, I don't even know if he could see my face, but the first thing I ever said to him was, "Hey man, a lot of fans are not happy that you are here. How do you anticipate proving them wrong?" And he's just like, "Well, I'll show them. I'll show them that they should be happy." And like, it didn't work out. I was clearly right. The fans were right. But I feel like there wasn't really a need for me to start the question like that, to be like, "Hey man, nobody really wants you here. Welcome to Pittsburgh." I actually said welcome to Pittsburgh and congratulations. And then followed that up with fans are not happy about this. Mm-hmm. So my apologies to Mitch. Didn't mean to do that to you. I could see the Steelers doing a Mitch Trubisky type deal where the window opens and they already have something in place, and then boom, it immediately gets signed. I think that position will be inside linebacker. I think they'll probably have their guys, like a David Long, a Jeremy Pratt, like they're 2 or 3, like we want to land these guys for cheap. Who can we sign first? Like who can we get a deal done with to kind of make it happen? Because last year, you got to remember, the Steelers went off. They went Mitch Trubisky, James Daniels, Miles Jack, and somebody else, Levi Wallace, all within like a couple hours. They just boom, 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 boom. They already had those deals in place. I don't see them, going that absurd this time because they don't have many holes, but I do see them like having their guy at inside linebacker. And if they could agree with the deal, it'll be like a, terms agreed to, contract signed on Wednesday type situation, just to get it out of the way, not have to worry about a cluttered market.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That would be a great way to start free agency for them. How big so at inside linebacker, where do you think they kind of go? Like how much are they going to indulge themselves, I guess, in the free agent market?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, David Long's Spotrac value right now is like $6.5 million. I think that they stay around that range, like that $6 to $8 million range, where they could keep their inside linebacker room under $20 million if they decide to keep Miles Jack, bring Robert Spillane in for like $2 or $3 million max, and then sign like a David Long. I think David Long, Jermaine Pratt are like the top of their list. I think Pratt is going to be number 1 just because they would love to get him away from Cincinnati and to Pittsburgh. If it could work out for cheap, I think that's their move. But I would say those guys, like the TJ Edwards and, the Tremaine Edmonds that are going to get a boatload of money, not on the Steelers market. They're just not. Like the Steelers are not going to go out there and spend $15 million on an inside linebacker and say, well, this is the most meaningless position in football these days, but we're going to spend $30 million on it this season because why not? We have a $10 million backup quarterback. Why not just waste money at inside linebacker too? It just, I don't think it makes sense. So I could see one of those two guys, and I could see probably about the $6 to $8 million range. And that's a good way to finish this off. Do you see any splash coming? Do you see in the next week the Pittsburgh Steelers shocking us all, spending money where they maybe people didn't expect them to spend money, spending more money on a guy that maybe they weren't initially planning on spending money on a guy? Or we kind of anticipated they weren't going to spend money on a guy? Do you see the, oh my gosh, headline coming for the Steelers this week?
I don't, quite honestly. I feel like all kind of their focus has been pushed to the draft. I feel like
Yeah.
any moves that they make in free agency before then will be kind of they will be smaller. They'll be kind of addressing small holes here and there, but I don't really think they're going to swing for the fences, especially early in free agency.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be boring. I think the most exciting thing might be Cam Sutton getting a little bit more of a deal than people anticipated. Maybe a safe, like a different safe, but I have a hard time believing that one too. I don't know. I agree. I think that it's just like a very boring time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I will say this. If they somehow come up with some cap space and they feel good about their cap situation at the end of the week, and they are like, hey, man, somebody big's on the market and he plays defensive tackle, maybe they toss a bag his way and say, let's just do this. You know what I mean? Like, let's just have the most disgusting free agency line, our free agency of all time. But overall, I think it's going to be a very boring week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we're
And
going to kill the Tremaine Edmonds thoughts early too.
yeah, and I think they're going to get better. I think they're going to make their team. They're going to make some moves that makes them better, but
Yeah.
it's just not going to be a real sexy kind of move or whatever.
No. It's going to be very mild. Last year was their splash. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Look at what's happening right now. This year, it's just going to be like, let's fill the holes with the guys we have. We have an offense. Our team's very young. Let's build. Let's get some draft. We have great draft picks. That's the splash is the draft picks.